You know, how is everybody? Good? Are you enjoying Nick? Yeah? You ready to go dark? Yeah? You know, that's the problem with security nowadays. You got people like Paula and Marcus Murray. They do it the nice way. They're nice guys. You know, they'll hack you. I'll just break your legs. You know, that's the problem with, interrogation these days. It's not sinister enough. We're too polite. We're too nice. If you want to get information from people, you go back to the old way. God, I love the days of waterboarding. They were great days. So, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome along to my final session here at NIC this year. This is Dark Frontier, Tales from Identity Thief, something which I would never do. Okay. For those of you who don't know me or have not met me before, my name is Andy Malone. I'm an MVP in enterprise security for 8 years now. Like Paula, I do security. I also do a lot of work in the cloud, and actually I'm in a conundrum this year. I might switch my MVP to Office 365 later this year, but we'll see, because they're paying more, basically, to be honest. I'm worldwide, so I speak at many conferences like this, and I get to speak to very nice. My God, you guys are up in the gods, aren't you? I feel like I'm in the Colosseum here or something. You know?
You're being watched.
I think I am. Yes. Okay. So I'm based in Scotland, but I'm not there very often. I tend to move around a lot. So what are we really going to talk about today? Well, we're going to talk about what identity theft is. I was involved in a number of projects with the British government about 4 years ago, and this session that you're seeing today was the beginning of something, or certainly one of the demos that I did was the beginning of a very interesting project with them. So we're going to talk about who are you. So, for example, if I ask you who you are, you'll go, well, I can prove who I am because I've got a driver's license, I've got a birth certificate or some crappy thing like that. But, okay, everything about you can be faked. Everything can be duplicated. So if I really wanted to find out who you are and I'd just set up a Facebook account or a Twitter account in your name. There's nothing to stop me doing that, and I would just gather all the information that I possibly could. So we're going to talk about how identity theft is done. How does it occur? And actually, surprising, there's a number of different types of identity theft that have started to come around over the last few years. We'll talk about the different types of identity theft. So it's not just identity theft. There are a number of different flavors of it. How it's actually done, and ultimately, if you don't want to bother with identity theft, then you can just buy a new life because it's for sale on the internet, okay, which is very nice. Either that or some guy down at the pub, whichever you will. So when we talk about who you are, you're probably going to come out and take your wallet out and give me some money. No, you're going to show me some various IDs, which will say, this is the proof of who I am. So I've got a driver's license, a birth certificate. You might have a medical record. You might have a national insurance card or social security card of some kind. One thing or another, but everything, it doesn't really matter what it is because everything can be duplicated. So how can we actually go back to the beginning? Who are you? So, oh, look. Looking at some of you guys up there, I don't think you were ever this good looking, by the way. All right? So from the minute you're born, you're basically assigned a number. And this number generally stays with you all of your life. Okay? So this is your birth certificate number, and irrespective of which country you live in the world, you will always be stamped with this number the moment that you are born. And until recently, this number was actually generated manually. So when you were born, you would go into a registrar's office, your parents would go in, and they would register the birth. It would typically be in a book. In the old days, this might have been a church records, Kirk records, but now, of course, it's all digital, it's all electronic. And you might think, okay, well, which one's better? Is the manual way better, or is the electronic way better? Well, the thing about electronic records is they never go away. Electronic records never die. Okay, we now have more electronic data in the world than we've ever had in human history. So this is how it starts for us. And as we go through life, you then attain a number of different identities. You'll get credit cards, you'll get passports, you'll get social security cards, bank cards, all kinds of things which fall through your life. So the only thing that really remains constant in your life is that birth certificate. So it's a little bit like hacking. If I was going to hack, the internet or hack something, you don't hack the new stuff, because the problem with the modern technology is it's a bit like Lego. It's all built on top of each other. So it still runs at the basic core TCP/IP technologies that we've had for oodles of years now. Windows 10, or whatever you want to call it now, is still Windows NT. It's still Windows. A Mac is still a Mac. It's all built on top of each other. So the point is, if I was going to attack something, I would attack the base of that something, not the top. And that's what makes it interesting. It's the same with if I was going to steal your birth certificate. Get hold of your birth certificate, and again, I can build a new pile of Lego quite easily. And as we go through life now in the digital world, what we're finding is that, again, we're having a multitude of different identities. And in fact, as we go through our daily lives, the chances are we probably have at least 50 or so different identities that we use on a weekly basis, whether it be passwords, whether it be our keys to our house, PIN numbers for bank cards, registration plates for cars, whatever. It's all really the same thing. But the point is, we're just this bucket of identity. So again, I ask you, prove who you are. And the chances are you'll come up with something like this, or something like that. And you'll say, this is how I can prove who I am. But of course, that really doesn't tell me anything about really who you are. So how do I know it's really you? Well, you might argue, well, why don't you take some DNA from it? Is DNA 100% accurate? No. It's not 100% accurate. There have been legal cases, criminal cases, where somebody has been imprisoned and then they've discovered that the DNA taken is actually unreliable. So it's not 100% accurate. You might do a blood test. You might do a retina scan, something like that. But again, many of these things are not 100% accurate, and the reason being is because we share much of our DNA with other life forms on this planet, not just human beings. So, but surely the problem with identity then is that everything can be faked. Okay? Unfortunately, it can also even be bought. And this is what makes identity theft, in my opinion, one of the most dangerous security flaws that we have today. And as of yet, we've still not solved this problem. Okay? So all we seem to do is pile on additional identities onto our lives, but it doesn't solve the problem. Now, I was reading recently that a company in Sweden, anybody from Sweden here? Yay! Okay. Apparently there's a company in Sweden starting microchipping people. Maybe that's the idea. Maybe that's the way forward. My God, that's inhuman, isn't it? We do that to dogs. We do that to animals. Why not microchip somebody? That one microchip at birth would then be a unique ID right through our lives. That'd be quite interesting. Hey, that's the stuff of a good book. On the subject of books, no, that's another story. Okay, so when we talk about identity theft, obviously, I love this episode, by the way. I'm a Trekkie. It's true, I am. I'm a total Trekkie, and this is Captain Kirk dressed up as a Romulan. Okay, so identity theft, then, is obviously impersonating somebody else for either financial, political, or revenge reasons. So you're either going to do it, in most cases, guys on the internet doing phishing, emailing, whatever, they're just trying to do it for financial reasons, financial fraud. But there are other reasons as well. Revenge is a big reason. So you've got, some pissed off employee from your company who decides to take out revenge on the company. In the US, it happens all the time. Some crazy guy goes in with a gun and starts shooting up the place because he feels a bit hacked off. So here, in the UK, you can't readily walk in and buy guns. So the other way that you do it is you maybe mail bomb them or do something. Let's say, the employer of the company has just been discovered with AIDS, and you broadcast that, and then suddenly you see the stock fall from the company. And that can be just as dangerous. So corporate identity fraud is definitely a dangerous thing. And when you look at the actual figures of identity theft, you can see, in actual fact, they're actually going, what we see now is not just for commercial reasons. We're seeing now lots of different types of identity theft starting to emerge. For tax purposes, for medical reasons, and so on. Which some of it I don't really think is very ethical. So when you say what motivates somebody to commit a crime? So I always call this the precipice approach. We're all good people. Well, some of us are. We're all generally quite nice people. Hello down there. Is your neck not stretching like that? Yeah. So, and basically, being a good person, we stand on the edge of something, and what tips us over the edge? There's something in us as human beings that will force us into a conflict with somebody, whether it's if war breaks out, whether we're forced to take up arms against an enemy, or going back to the days of Rome, when a man was forced to fight for his life, and he either fights for his life or he dies. It's one or the other. So you're either forced to do that or somehow coerced into it. So some of the reasons for identity theft is the number one reason, actually, is it's state-sponsored. So you commit a crime, do something terrible. Maybe you're a child, you're a 13-year-old, you go and kill a child, whether it's on purpose or accidentally. You'll go to jail for, 6 months. Well, hopefully not. But you'll go to jail for a substantial amount of time. And typically, child deaths, child killers who are children, tend to get new identities. But there are other reasons as well. You give information to the government, you're a spy or something like that. Again, if you get a job with MI6 in the UK, the Security Intelligence Service, one of the first things that they do is they give you a new life. They will give you a new passport. They will give you a new identity completely. Because if you're stationed in Saudi Arabia, or if you're stationed somewhere, you can, and you're basically arrested for some reason, you've got those papers. You never want to be able to trace back your real life. So the first thing that happens when you join the CIA or the SIS is that you're given a new life. So government, state-sponsored reasons. Of course, witness protection is another reason as well. Another type of ID fraud, probably the most popular one, is financial ID fraud. Revenge. Okay, so we all want revenge at some point in our lives. Some of us may go around it in slightly different ways than other people. But again, it's a very, very genuine reason to seek retribution. Illegal immigration. So this is becoming a real problem, not just in Norway, not just in the UK, but worldwide. And, last year I was in Seattle, as I sometimes am. I'm in Seattle a number of times a year. And I went to the Boeing factory. The Boeing that create the planes. And you're standing in this factory, and these Boeing 777s and 747s and 787s, they're all coming off the production lines. And you're looking at these things, and you're thinking, my God, they're going to come like the stars. And that's the time that we live in, I'm afraid. you know? So the days of when we lived in our little villages and we barely traveled 20 miles in a year, those days are gone. This is a new world, and we need to get used to that. So again, illegal immigration it's just going to happen. I want to buy a new life. I'm desperate. I'm a refugee from Syria. I'm fearing for my life. I want to get away, as you would do if Russia decided to invade Norway. You'd all come to Scotland. Okay. Another reason as well for identity fraud is terrorism. So whether you like it or not, terrorism is a growing present danger. And many terrorists, people like the 9/11 bombers, the terrorist group that blew up the gas refinery in Nigeria, these were all successful because they'd stolen various identities to allow them into various places. So the motivation, of course, the number one motivation is definitely financial. So I want to obviously go into my local IT store, buy, 1 million kroners worth of lovely IT equipment and charge it to you. Yeah? So you can walk away scot-free. And this is a good reason. Yeah? So you do that. In Europe, it's actually quite difficult to do that because we've got the chip and pin process. But in America, they still do it the old way. They still sign, and they don't have those checks and balances, which I always find amazing. Immigration. So this is Calais in France, of course, and everybody for some reason wants to get to the UK. Apparently, we're the land of golden opportunity. I don't know. I don't know where they get that idea from. I thought it was Norway myself. Personally, I'd send them all here. Okay. You've got the space. Send them all to Mo i Rana. There's a place for them to go. Okay. That's a cold place, by the way. I actually know what it's like to live on an ice cube. We went to Mo i Rana once. Okay, so again, immigration, huge problem for a number of governments. So whether you have illegal immigrants coming in, and that's all down to processes. Now, one of the toughest immigration countries in the world is probably Australia. And you've probably seen their news broadcast and how they do it. They don't like you, baby. They turn you right round. They don't mess around. I used to think the US were the meanest. Oh, no. The Australians are the meanest. Yeah? Yeah. So out you go. No messing around. So, again, this is quite an interesting website. So it talks about UK immigration. I always remember watching this TV show. It was like the British version of that show. And this guy came in and they said, oh, no, you've been coming in under a fake visa and a fake university letter. And you could see this university letter had been Tipp-Ex'd 20 times, and he says, oh, I fear for my life. Right, you're in. Thanks very much. Okay, so when we talk about the types of identity theft then, we're not just talking about this one. This is the number one reason, but there are different types of identity theft. So financial identity theft is the number one. Number two is criminal identity theft. So criminal identity theft can be for terrorism, it can be for drug trafficking, money laundering, anything like that. Identity cloning. So identity cloning is different to identity theft. Identity cloning is where you actually become that person for a long-term period of time. Okay. Child ID fraud is becoming a real problem, especially in the US. So in the US, of course, like many countries in the world, there is a lot of poverty around. And if I can get my child through school, if I can get a child's identity, I can potentially rack up a load of free credit or a load of medical expenses. And the problem is, for the child, they have a number of years, let's say 10, 12 years, before they can actually look at their records and go, hey, I've had my identity stolen. So that's the problem with it, because you've got a long time to actually use that theft. Tax ID theft. Again, this is another real problem as well. So in the US, tax ID. So, why the hell should I pay my gazillions in tax when I can just pay your, $1 in tax? That sounds much nicer to me. So tax ID fraud is becoming a problem. One of the most concerning issues is countries in the world like the US. The US have a medical system unlike Norway, unlike most of Europe, where you need to have insurance, okay? In an emergency situation, they will treat you, but I have heard where they will pick you up in an ambulance and the first thing that they want to know is, do you have medical insurance? If you don't have medical insurance, they'll basically just drop you, okay? And that's, for me, personally, that seems very unethical, okay? So ethics really comes into it. And this is, unfortunately, a case of where people just really get desperate. You're desperate for your family, your child's sick. You will do anything to get that child medical attention, even if it means stealing somebody else's medical insurance documents. Physical ID theft. So how is it actually done? So physical ID theft, I was in Rome last week and I actually saw a guy do that. Yeah, we were actually walking along and there was a dumpster and this guy was in there just like that. I could not believe that. Okay, obviously this is just an Italian thing. They obviously do that. So dumpster diving, so obviously we all now have shredders. So the idea is any bills, any credit cards, anything like that really should be shredded. Remember though, there's just a single stream of shredding that you can have. The problem with single stream shredding is that can all be reconstituted, okay? You now get dual shredders, yes? So the latest trend is dual shredders. However, I can tell you that can be digitally composed, okay? So if you are looking for 100% security, you need to burn it completely, okay? Burn it. It's the only way. The old-fashioned ways are the best, okay? Things like shoulder surfing, okay? Tailgating, following people into buildings. You walk up to a building with a big heavy box and there's smoking outside the building. Oh, excuse me, friend. Oh, thanks very much. Yes, it works every time. You walk in with a green jacket that says janitor or cleaning staff. It's amazing how many doors these things open for you. Okay. It's quite funny because we all talk about security. I get so many people coming to my cloud security sessions, and they're all going, I'm not putting anything in the cloud. It's not secure. It's not secure. And then the first thing they do is go onto Facebook, blah, blah, blah. Okay? Just amazes me. Another type of interesting type of ID badges, if you can imagine that we're all walking around with these, and these are all nice. It doesn't really tell me. It tells my name. It's got a barcode. And it lets me know that I'm an official delegate here. But if I drop that in the street, this could be very valuable to a thief outside, especially looking at the amount of laptops and Surface devices and iPads and things lying around. Take one of these, it opens up a whole new world. Again, another type of ID fraud. Now this is a stolen badge, the one that you're looking at on screen here. And this is one of the team that infiltrated the Nigerian gas plant a couple of years ago. They were terrorists and they took out that gas plant. So if you're going to create badges, you need to make them not just plain and basic like that, because these things can easily be duplicated. If you've got chips in them, smart cards within them, digital certificates, fair enough, that's great. But don't just rely on basic badges. It's interesting that, you go to an airport and the woman at the airport, when I arrived in Oslo airport, she just looks at my passport. She says, yeah, that's fine. So there's no check. Is this a genuine passport? Because it's busy. There's lots of lines here. They just look at the picture. They go, yeah. And you think, well, all that smart chip technology, all that additional technology that we have available, we ignore and we just choose to go with the old traditional thing. Why? Because it's convenient. One of the problems that makes security a very hard sell, would you agree, is that sometimes it's not convenient? Yeah? Yeah. Do we really need to do all those checks? Do we really need all those references? It's a bit of a pain. Okay, so just be aware of that. Like I said, medical theft is becoming a real issue. So again, the thief may use your name, may use your social security information to order prescriptions, rake up doctor's bills, medical bills. I find this one quite sad that people are desperate to do this. And again, you only find that this happens in certain areas of the world, aka the US being the number one. So it's a bit of a shame, really. Child ID theft then, if a child, attempts to, when it's 18, attempts to apply for credit, and they've already got loads of blacklists against them because, you're the next door neighbor, you're the one that's done it, you're driving around in a new Ferrari, and they can't obtain credit. I wouldn't feel sorry about that, to be honest. Okay, so the warning signs, I love this, by the way, the warning signs. The child receives offers for credit cards at 8. That's unusual. Okay. Government agencies start querying the child about earnings, tax credits, social security benefits. You attempt to open a bank account when your child's young and it gets refused. So all of these things could be an indication of child ID fraud. And it's funny, but don't think it doesn't happen. This is serious, and this is definitely a growing trend at the moment. Okay. Okay, corporate ID fraud is definitely on the up and up. So gone are the days of 007 walking into an office with a little mini camera. We've all got mini cameras on us now, yes? Well, apart from some people that have got these enormous iPhone 6 Pluses and these Nokia things. That's not exactly, stealth, is it, walking around with one of those? Exploiting insider access. So often being an employee, you might, this goes back to the malicious employee. Why's this guy got extra access to a building? What is he doing at 6:30 at night? Why is he the only person in the building? There should be checks and balances in place. Now, you go to London, places like London and Edinburgh, and especially London, when you're working in London, your working hours are 9 to 5. But what they don't tell you is that actually your double secret working hours are actually 7 till 9. Okay? And the reason for that is it's expected that you stay behind to show that you're a worthwhile employee. Do you have that problem in Norway? No, you don't, because you're out the door by 3:30, many of you, I'm telling you. I've seen you guys. I know. And what is the 11:30 lunch thing? I mean, what is that about? Okay, that's breakfast. Okay. So, okay, so I love that one as well. Fake customer service reps. I love those. Yeah, I'm doing a survey, sir. Yes, you've got the perfect color jacket for it. Just stand outside. I'm doing a survey on what you thought of Nick. Can I just have your name and address and contact details? Oh, yeah, no problem, because I'm gullible. Yeah, I've got a T-shirt that says I'm gullible. Okay. So, again, watch out for this. Okay, so how it's done. Of course, mass mail-outs, phishing, boom, boom, yeah. I'm sure we've all seen this. You've won the lottery this week. Really? I didn't even play it. Wow. Yes. We'd like to introduce our online pharmacy, Viagra, I don't know. You may need Viagra. I don't know. I mean, it might be doing you a favor. Okay? Certainly does me a favor. Okay, phishing. Here's a question for you. What's the difference between phishing and whaling? What's whaling, anyone? What's phishing? Shout it out. Try to get a response. Yep. So click here. Yep. And this is typically done. You know, your Facebook account has been locked out. Your PayPal account has been, access has been denied. You need to verify your credentials. They try and evoke a response. They try and frighten you into giving information away. Whaling is slightly different. Whaling is targeted at a specific company or a specific identities within that company. Okay? So watch out for that. Spoof websites. These are really good, by the way, and they're getting really good. So you click on a link to reset your Twitter page, and it takes you to what looks like Twitter. And it's really good quality now. I mean, in the old days, they used to be like, JavaScript applications, and they just look ridiculous. But now, some of them actually look really good. Virus, Trojans, spyware. Actually, virus, Trojans, and spyware, these types of attacks are getting less and less now. And one of the reasons for that, and I honestly think viruses, Trojans, and spyware, all of this is middleware. Okay? So at the moment, we've got physical software, a physical OS installed on our machines. And, we'll download drivers, we'll download patches, we need an antivirus software. But the days are coming, my friends. I call it Windows 365, Office 365, where it will be very, very thin. And that whole fat middleware is going to go away. Okay? So the exploits are going to become more browser-based. Yeah? So that's the type of attacks that we're going to get. Spoof phone calls. Yes, hello, I'm from Microsoft. Yes, we believe you've got a problem with your machine. Who's had that phone call? Wow, look at that. Quite a few of you. Wow, obviously Norway's the place to come for that. Okay? So watch out for those. Do you really need that? I have so much fun with those guys. Yeah? I'm on my Mac and they're going, you need to click on start. Ah, okay. Are you still there, sir? Oh, yes, sorry, I'm still here. Yeah, and you keep them hanging on for ages. I love it. And they eventually get so mad they go away. And, of course, the malicious insider. So these are all the different ways to, get information from you. Okay. So let's go phishing then. So what are some of the tools, the malicious tools that you can get? Well, this is probably a good one. All of these are available, by the way, from the Tor, from various Tor sites, which I would never recommend going to. So Fisher Creator 2, you can basically create phishing emails that look like the real deal. Okay, so whether it's from a bank or anything, this is a great piece of software. Super Fisher, again, this is a good one as well. So it just generates the web page, and then all you do is sit in an airport, fire up your laptop to make it look like it's an internet connection. They connect to you. And, of course, all their credit card information goes through you. Okay, I've never done that. iStealer. Again, iStealer is a credential stealer, credit card stealer. Very nice piece of software. I may make some of this software available to you. For a fee, of course. Okay. Don't worry about giving me your credit card information. The chances are I've already got it. Okay. So phishing software is there in abundance, and you can see this is the type of phishing email that you might get. I love the ones from LinkedIn. There's huge attacks coming from LinkedIn at the moment. Not LinkedIn as a company, of course. They'll sue me for saying that. But people who are pretending to be LinkedIn. And they will say, this person's signed up. Click here to view their profile. Yes? And it will take you to one of these fake sites. Meanwhile, it's dropping a Trojan on your machine. Watch out for that. So if somebody has done that, sent you that email, go into your LinkedIn site and view it through LinkedIn rather than clicking on the email. Okay? That's a well-known attack at the moment. All right? And some of you are sat there going, oh, crap, I just did that yesterday. Okay, so Twitter, again, follow your interest. So this is a fake Twitter page, of course. And how do you know it's fake? Because obviously you go up top there, you can see the HTTPS, and the name is just bogus. I love this, though, Facebook, Sammy the Squirrel. How the hell can a squirrel have 400 friends? What idiots sign up to be a friend of Sammy the Squirrel? Okay? Gordon the Gopher, or whatever, Crazy people. Now, this is an interesting... facial technology is becoming really popular these days. Would you agree? Yes? Remember Google Glass? Okay, that didn't quite go down as well as Google wanted it to. The military bought it, though. Okay, very popular for military. And not just the UK military and the US military have bought it. So the idea is that if you walk into a room, it's a bit like the old episodes of Chuck. You'll be able to look at somebody, and it'll take facial recognition, and instantly you'll know who that guy is because it'll look through his records and everything. So a bit like number plate recognition, but for spies. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Okay, so Facebook facial recognition. This is a beta test at the moment that Facebook are doing. And the idea is that certain apps, you can walk around and you can, I can see your face and it shows me who your friends are, or it will show me your Facebook profile. That's a little creepy. That is a little creepy, okay? And this is one of the companies that's actually working with Facebook. This is a company called NameTag. I've got a video coming up that's got some audio in it, guys, so you maybe want to just rack up the audio here. And this is just a quick little video about NameTag and how it works.
Select the image, it grabs it goes up to the server, comes back down, and it's Kanye West.
Just a bright background, right? Yeah. So I didn't know it though. I did this picture I have of you. Oh, it got you. Even with your eyes closed. Your eyes are close to the picture I got. Yeah, still got you. Yep. Nice, dude. I'm in the database. Yeah, you are. So, alright. Keep it 70% users on Facebook.
A little creepy, actually. Okay, now you're probably thinking, okay, Google Glass is gone. But Google Glass is not dead, my friends. That technology is uber smart. Uber smart. Okay, the Metropolitan Police in London have all now been, with their kit, with their regular kit, have cameras. So they've got body cameras. Those body cameras actually do facial recognition now. So if they happen to just be walking around and spot you, because you look like a dodgy guy, it reports back and it will flag up. So it's like, that phone number, hang on, there's something wrong there, something wrong about that person, there's an arrest warrant out on that person. That's really clever, okay? So you can see the military and also law enforcement reasons for using that technology. Now, As well as stealing identity theft, obviously, or as well as doing it, you might want to actually go out and buy a pre-packaged one. And these are genuine websites. So the Telegraph, basically, they did everybody a favor. They actually listed the whole websites. Imagine that, a paper listing them all. So you can actually go to Fake ID, and you can actually purchase a fake ID between £1,000 and £5,000. Or you can actually go and actually buy the real thing. So last year in London, coming out of the passport office, the printing department where they actually print passports, the van was hijacked and something like 10 million blank British passports were stolen. Okay? So you can imagine that having a real passport would definitely go a long way. So committing ID fraud, how do you actually do it? So I'll tell you a story. I was doing a presentation like this, and I'm going to show you the demo that I showed them. After the presentation, somebody came to me and said, I represent John Smith & Sons in London. We'd be really interested if you would come in and do a presentation and actually show us how to steal an ID, how to get a genuine birth certificate and how to do it. Would you do that? I went, yeah, absolutely, no problem. So they flew me down to Heathrow, and I landed, and there's a taxi guy with a thing saying John Smith & Sons. I get in the car, and we're driving, and we're driving, and we're driving. And I'm looking at the address, and I'm looking at the guy driving, and I'm thinking, oh crap, I'm in trouble here. Okay? I'm really in trouble here. And then we cross a bridge, and we go into a very famous building, which I've actually signed the Official Secrets Act, so I can't tell you which one it is. But I'm going, holy crap, I'm really in trouble here. And by the time I get out the car, my knees are actually shaking. I swear to God, my knees are shaking. So I go into this building, and I go up to the 4th floor of this building, and it's serious when it's retina scan, when the guy in front of you is doing a retina scan, right hand, left hand. It's serious, right? And I'm really crapping myself now, okay? And I go up to the 4th floor of this building, and there's a line of quite famous people and some uniformed people. And they said, do that presentation again for you. And I'm going, okay. I'll do it. And I did the presentation. And they asked me to basically do it for real. And the scary thing is I did it. And then, obviously, I stole an identity. So my name is John Davidson, by the way. I am legally John Davidson. I have a birth certificate, a passport, a driver's license, credit card history, bank history, everything. I am John Davidson. Okay? So, obviously, it was destroyed because, that would be illegal. Okay? So, and the crazy thing is, I did it again about a year ago, and nothing had changed. You could still do it. You could still get away with it. And I thought, what the hell was the point of that? Crazy. Another gotcha. Hey, we need IT professionals. Come along to this hotel for interviews. Oh, just fill in this form, will you? That's a good one. Okay, badges. Dead people tell no lies. My dad moved house recently, and we went into this house, and the person who was there before kind of croaked. And and unfortunately for them, all their stuff was still there. Everything was still there. So we had to clear out this house. And I mean everything. The birth certificate, the passport, that would have been an ID theft's dream to steal that kind of stuff. So the dead tell no lies. Remember that. Okay. Of course, another way to get it is to steal it like this. So if you're in Barcelona or Naples, watch out. There's one of these guys in every corner. Bills, of course, you should always shred this stuff, as I mentioned, and guard this stuff with your life, okay? In the UK, they're actually talking about removing paper birth certificates. They're talking about making them digital. They're talking about, some kind of digital technology, which is going to be interesting. Now, how is it done? How do I steal this stuff then? How do I actually go around stealing this? So the first thing you might say is, well, where do we start? We start at the beginning. If I can get a copy of your birth certificate, I can do a lot of damage. Okay, and I'm going to show you that. So, obviously, if I go to a site like this that's warning me about identity theft, I love it. Yeah. And I actually say, okay, can I get a copy of my birth certificate or your birth certificate? They'll want me to run or jump through lots of hoops. Yes? I'll need to answer lots of questions and prove and all that kind of crap. But the problem is, it's a government agency, and the government agency open it up to third parties. And you think, that's crazy. So here's a government agent. This is a free website that you can join. That lamp's not going to fall on me, is it? No. That happened to Steve Riley once. He was on stage and he moved back and the lamp dropped. I mentioned that if you want a birth certificate, if I want a copy of your birth certificate, all I need to do is obviously find out your date of birth, which of course you'll have on your Facebook page. Okay? You'll have your place of birth on your Facebook page. So what I do is I go to the local records office and I'll say, I would like a copy of that birth certificate. These are all public records, by the way. Now, this is an OCR. So a few years ago, they OCR'd all the paper registry books, yes? And these are all available. So there are websites like findmypast.com. And findmypast.com does both the Europe and it does America. So let me show you how this works. So, like I said, I'm going to go to, this is the British government website here. And it's obviously, if it says, do you want a birth certificate, it's going to let me do it, but it's going to say, hang on, you need loads of extra questions. You need to answer lots of additional questions here. So I'm going to say, all right, fair enough. I'm going to go to one of those third-party websites that says UK official records, which I love. And it says, okay, let me order a birth certificate. So I'm going to click on here and it says, yep, I want to order this birth certificate. And I can do a birth certificate, a marriage certificate, death certificate, whatever. So I'll click in here. And all it needs is my details, my name and address, the parents' details. Now, the parents' details were in that book, which I could get. Okay. So the father's name, the mother's maiden name, of course, which we all use on bank accounts. And this is that website, findmypast.com. So I'm just going to choose myself. So I'm putting in my Sunday name, Andrew. You always know when my wife's angry with me, it's in 2 syllables, Andrew. Yeah. So I put in my age, 21, and you can see it says, okay, where, approximately where you were found and where you were born, which cabbage patch you were found under. Okay. And these are all the OCR'd records, and this is all for a maximum of £15 a month, by the way. So I go in here, and I look for my name, and there it is, Andrew D. Yeah, and there's the date of birth, so I can click on View, and I can say, yeah, this is the record, and I want to see the official record. So you've got to pay for it, obviously. So which I have. So I order it. And it downloads. And this is the OCR'd page. It'll come in a second. almost instantly. Norway broadband. It's great when you're downloading movies, which I never do. Okay, so this is the page that I've downloaded, and if you zoom in, you will see, there we go, Malone A, Andrew D, my mum's maiden name, Bird, and there's the certificate number on the right-hand side. So I know the father's name, I know the mother's maiden name, beautiful. That's all I need. So now I go back to that dodgy website. Okay, oh, it's crashed out. Okay, so I now go back to that dodgy website and I order my birth certificate. All right, so I now have this birth certificate, John Davidson. This was the John Davidson. This is the genuine birth certificate of John Davidson that I managed to get hold of, by the way. And what do you need now? So once I've got that birth certificate, I can now go and open a bank account. I can apply for a driving license. You've got the official ID. Beautiful. And now I can create a new life for myself. Okay? So how do I create a new life? Well, this is the official route. So if I want to do the official route, you can see I can apply to the government to change my name. It can either be done through law enforcement, but either way, at the end of it, I'll get a new ID. So there is a number of different ways to do this. So you do a name change, you need to inform the authorities, you need to inform the banks, and so on. Illegal black market. Now, I can go in and buy a new ID. And the thing about buying a fake ID, they only have a certain time limit to use. But for a terrorist, that's all the time that they need. Okay? Another reason, of course, they have an illegal ID fraud, so they actually steal somebody's identity. And over a period of time, of course, they make use of it. So, the dangers of ID theft. She's a nice young lady, isn't she? This is Samantha Laithwaite, okay, from the UK. Very nice lady. Normal upbringing, regular family, good parents, good school. Unfortunately, she lived in an area and she met a boy. And the boy was seemed like a nice guy. Unfortunately, he was a Muslim man. This is nothing to do with Muslims. I'm not against. This is just fact, okay? And they got married. They had a family together. Unfortunately, this gentleman had some rather strange ideas. And this was the result of it. So she became who we call now the White Widow. The White Widow was one of the most sinister terrorists. And she was actually one of the leaders responsible for the Nigerian gas attack. She was last seen in Syria. Now, it was reported a little while ago that she was killed, shot by a sniper in Ukraine. Now, it's widely believed in the industry now that this is a lie, that she's actually still alive. Why the hell would she be in Ukraine? Okay, so we actually believe that this is a lie, and actually that lady is still alive in Syria today. Okay, and she was able to move from country to country because of identity fraud. Likewise, this gentleman, Mr. Atta, of course, he was one of the 9/11 bombers. And again, he had an illegal, he went into the US on a US tourist visa. And whilst there, he had a stolen ID, new name, new life, and he managed to infiltrate and do the damage that he did on 9/11. All because of stolen IDs. Now, a stolen ID, all you need is that one moment, that one time that you walk through passport control and the woman just looks at it and goes, yeah, thanks, on you go. It's from the UK. You must be trustworthy. Well, with a face like this, how could I not be, right? Okay. So, that's what I'm saying. If you're going to have a passport with that kind of technology, it's got the chip, it's got everything, at least just run it through a scanner, just to be sure. Just to be sure. Okay, so protecting yourself against ID theft, I'm not going to preach this because it's common sense. Shred those documents, burn them. Better still, burn them. Okay? Protect yourself online. We all want to be friends on Facebook. We all want to go on Twitter, especially to my page at Andy Malone. Okay? So we all want to do these things, but just the amount of information that you share. The problem with Facebook, it says, what school did you go to? Who were your friends? What was your first job? Do they really need to know that information? Especially your kids. Protect your kids in this area. Question suspicious email. Phone inquiries. Why is Microsoft calling me? I have a Mac. Okay? So make sure that you know who you're dealing with. Okay? Especially when they start asking for PIN numbers and bank information and things like that. Common sense. Be careful what you share about yourself. Fine. If you're going to have a CV out there, fine. You know, put something simple like this in. So if you would like more information, please contact me. But don't just have it publicly out there. If you're going to some places that are quite notorious for pickpockets, you can have pickpockets anywhere. You can get these pickpocket-proof bags, which is not easy to say at this time of day. Okay? And again, protect your identity online. I'm going to make all these slides and more available, by the way. So I've got some extras for all of my sessions, videos, white papers, slides, everything. And from a little bit later on this afternoon, I'm going to post it on my Twitter page. I've got a OneDrive link. So Andy Malone, at Andy Malone on Twitter. Okay? Consider biometric multi-factor solutions. So one of the big wins that Windows 10 is bringing out, and the way the cloud is moving, is with the new multi-factor authentication. This is going to be quite exciting. So yes, something that you have, something that you know. Yes? So you need two things. Okay? Do we have any questions? I realize it's a bit difficult in this huge room, but if you've got any questions, you can come down and buy me a beer and I'll answer it for you. All right? By the way, that's the review. So we spoke about who we are, what they are, the types of identity. Interesting? Yes? Yes, don't care. What time does the pub open? Okay, suit yourself. So you can. I've got the extras on my OneDrive. As I say, Andy Malone. I'll post them today for you. By the way, did I mention I've written a book? This is my new book, the science fiction thriller The Seventh Day. There is some bookmarks at the bottom of the stairs here, so if anybody wants one of those, please help yourself. Now, I did mention that I'm going to do a quiz. So if you have picked up one of my bookmarks already, I'm going to ask you a question right after the trailer. Would you like to see the trailer, yeah? Here's the trailer. Okay. I'm a man of my word. Okay? Here's a copy of my book. For the first person here that comes down here and shouts out, what's the name of the main character? Oh, well done. Gosh. Yes, that was quick. Eh? I think she planned that. Okay, stay there and I will sign a copy. Give her a round of applause, yeah? Well done. That's